When my marriage ended, it didn't explode. It rotted quietly. I found out my wife, Clara, had been unfaithful, not once or twice, but repeatedly, with people I'd never even heard of. By the time the truth surfaced, whatever love I'd been clinging to had already drained away. The divorce was swift, cold, and painfully final. I didn't want sympathy. I wanted distance. So I booked a one-way ticket and promised myself one thing. I wouldn't think about my old life for a while. No explanations. No plans. Just movement. City to city. Country to country. I told myself it was about adventure, but deep down I knew it was about escape. For weeks that worked. I wandered through unfamiliar streets, drank in loud bars where nobody knew my name, and slept in hotel rooms that felt interchangeable. I was lonely, but it was the quiet kind, the kind that doesn't ask questions. Then, in my final city, everything changed. I was standing in a crowded pub one evening, distracted, exhausted, half lost in thought, when I bumped into someone and spilled my drink straight down the front of her dress. I froze, already bracing for anger. Instead, she laughed. "If you weren't so handsome," she said casually, brushing herself off, "I'd be really upset right now." I didn't know what stunned me more, the compliment or the confidence with which she said it. She was elegant in a way that didn't try too hard. Mid-40s maybe. Soft eyes. Calm energy. The kind of woman who looked like she knew exactly who she was. I apologized, bought her another drink, and we started talking. That night felt unreal. She listened, really listened. She didn't rush the conversation or fill silences just to hear her own voice. She made me feel seen. Worthy. For the first time since my marriage collapsed, I wasn't the broken guy telling a sad story. I was just a man laughing again. We went back to my hotel, and for a few hours everything felt easy. But when I woke up the next morning, the room was empty. No goodbye. No explanation. Just a folded note on the bedside table. She wrote that she'd felt something real between us, but she couldn't fall in love with someone she met on holiday. She believed goodbyes were easier when they happened quickly. I read that note 3 times. Then I folded it and put it in my pocket like it might still mean something. Later that day, defeated and emotionally drained, I boarded my flight home. I told myself that was it. Another almost love, another story to lock away. Except fate wasn't finished with me. As I stood at baggage claim, staring blankly at the conveyor belt, my heart stopped. She was there. Not across the room. Not somewhere distant. She was standing less than 80 feet away from me. For a moment, neither of us moved. Then we locked eyes, and her face mirrored the exact same disbelief I felt. We laughed, because honestly, what else could you do? Out of all the cities in the world, we lived in the same one. We shared a cab home that night, still shaking our heads at the absurdity of it all. She told me about her love for art, architecture, museums. How Prague had always been a dream destination for her. Kept my past vague. I didn't mention Clara. I didn't mention betrayal. Just that I'd needed to disappear for a while. As the cab pulled up near her place, she handed me her number. "Call me," she said simply. And when she walked away, something deep in my chest told me this story wasn't finished yet. I thought our second meeting was a coincidence, but I had no idea that seeing her again would force me to confront the one thing I'd been running from, myself. 4 days after that cab ride, I kept replaying her laugh in my head. I tried not to romanticize it. I barely knew her. One night in a foreign city and a coincidence at the airport didn't mean destiny. At least that's what I told myself. Still, I found my fingers hovering over my phone more times than I'd like to admit. Eventually, I gave in and sent a simple message. "Coffee sometime?" Her reply came almost instantly. "Tomorrow morning." Morning. That alone should have been a warning sign. We met at a small cafe near our neighborhood, the kind with warm lighting and chipped mugs. She was already there when I arrived, sitting by the window with tea instead of coffee. When she looked up and smiled, all my nerves vanished. Conversation flowed easily. Travel stories, favorite cities, little moments from our lives. Felt natural, dangerously natural. Then I started noticing things. She woke up before sunrise. Every day. Yoga, running, journaling, then work by 8:30. She ate clean, exercised regularly, and planned her weeks in advance. Her life ran on intention and structure. It didn't. I liked late nights, spontaneous plans, and deciding what to eat 5 minutes before ordering it. Exercise was optional. Routine was flexible. Discipline wasn't exactly my brand. Despite that, I was drawn to her even more. Over the next few weeks, we saw each other constantly. Coffee turned into dinners. Dinners turned into quiet nights at each other's places. She was thoughtful, intelligent, and calm in a way that made me want to be better without her ever asking. But those differences didn't disappear. She'd invite me on morning runs, and I'd laugh it off. She'd suggest cooking healthy meals together, and I'd joke about ordering takeout instead. First it was playful, then less so. The tension surfaced when she invited me to a wellness retreat she was attending. A full weekend focused on mindfulness, health, and disconnecting from distractions. She was excited, genuinely believed it could be good for us. I wanted to say yes, but I already had plans to attend a party with friends I hadn't seen since my divorce. Rare plans. Hard to coordinate plans. When I told her I couldn't go, she nodded, but disappointment lingered in her eyes. That weekend I went to the party. I laughed. I drank. I pretended to have fun. But guilt followed me everywhere. When I got home, she was waiting at my apartment. She didn't yell. She didn't accuse. She just said, "We need to talk." She told me our differences felt heavier now. That she cared about me deeply, but it felt like we were walking in opposite directions. Health, structure, intention, that was her world. I lived somewhere else. I tried to reassure her. Told her love didn't need matching routines. She shook her head, tears forming. And then she ended it. I thought losing her was punishment for my choices, but what I didn't know was that heartbreak was about to become my wake-up call. The days after she left blurred together. Barely ate. Barely slept. My apartment felt quieter than it ever had. For the first time, I wasn't just heartbroken. I was disappointed in myself. I realized something uncomfortable. She hadn't asked me to change. I just hadn't been willing to grow. So I made a decision. If I was going to lose her, it wouldn't be because I refused to try. I started waking up earlier, painfully early. Joined a gym. Cooked meals that didn't come in containers. It wasn't graceful. I hated half of it. But every small win felt like reclaiming control. Weeks passed. Finally I messaged her. No expectations. Just honesty. To my surprise, she replied. We met again for coffee. She noticed the changes immediately. Not just physically but in how I spoke, how I carried myself. We talked for hours. By the end we agreed to try again, slowly, carefully. I thought effort would fix everything, but life had a bigger test waiting. For a while things worked. Compromise. Growth. Understanding. Then one night, over dinner, she told me she'd accepted a job in another city. 4 hours away. She hadn't discussed it with me. I felt invisible. She apologized. Explained it was her dream opportunity. I understood, but understanding didn't erase the pain. After hours of talking, we chose long distance. I agreed to distance, but I didn't know how far love would push me. Long distance was brutal. Video calls replaced touch. Silence replaced presence. But love didn't fade, it sharpened. I realized she wasn't just someone I loved. She was my future. So I planned a surprise. I was about to take her back to where everything began. And change our lives forever. Prague welcomed us like a memory come alive. On our final night, I took her back to the bar where we met. Got down on one knee. She said yes before I even finished asking. For the first time, I believed that sometimes people meet exactly when they're supposed to. And the craziest part, our story almost never happened at all.